Hello, my name's AJ Goldsby. I'm a life master from Pensacola, Florida, and I'm coming back today to bring you part 3 in my video series now on the game Kramnik versus Beliavsky. This is a miniature, a very brilliant and explosive game that was played in 1995. We're just going to quickly run through the first 12 or so moves because we covered the first 11 moves in part 1 of actually the first 10 moves in part 1. We covered almost the whole game in part 2, and I just want to wrap things up and also basically cover some things and talk about some different topics and different aspects of this game that I did not get to cover in part 1, rather in part 2, the last part of this video. But just quickly running through these moves, we're just going to get to the critical position here very quickly. And again, I'll post a link for both my webpage and a link to the Chess Games webpage so you can replay this game at your own speed right there on your computer. You won't need a chessboard. And those will be posted in the section on the YouTube right below the box where you see where you watch the video. There's a little bit of section that says show more. If you click on that, that's where I'll post both the link to my webpage and the link to the Chess Games webpage so you can replay this game at your own speed. Queen b3, rook b8, rook e1. Knight h6. Again, I felt like that was a slight inaccuracy. The knight better belonged on the f6 square, but for whatever reason, Kramnik put the knight on h6. And c takes d5. Again, I would have probably taken with the e pawn, but white, rather black, chose not to. He took with the c pawn. Perhaps he was worried about his king getting exposed there. And now white played h3. This was a theoretical novelty. The first time that this move was played up to that time. Of course, today there may have been more than one game that's been played with this line. But at that time, h3 was a theoretical novelty. And again, you can check that in both the informant and the book that Kramnik has, My Life in Games. This game is in that book, and it's carefully annotated rather by Vladimir Kramnik, and also his writer, the person who assisted him writing that book, is a journalist by the name of Ikov Damsky. But anyway, white played h3 there. That was a theoretical novelty. Bishop h5. White plays e4. Just a thunderous double exclam move, maybe even a triple exclam move. Just the move looks nonsensical. I mean, it looks like it's just, walking into a hammer blow. And now black plays f takes e4. I didn't look at this variation yet. I just wanted to quickly explore that. White could have played knight takes e4. That would have been what I would have played. It might even transpose into the game. But and after knight takes e4, just quickly explore that line. D takes, knight g5, castles, queen takes e6 check, knight f7, knight takes, rook takes, queen takes d6. And here white's basically just has a slam one game. I mean, and for a grandmaster, that would be an extremely tough variation, almost impossible for an average player or even someone like myself to analyze over the board. But for a grandmaster like Beliavsky, I imagine that was a fairly simple line for him to look at. I mean, I'm sure that he quickly saw that line was a win there. Both probably Beliavsky and Kramnik probably saw this possibility. But what Kramnik does is really what makes this game special. Is his next move. He plays the move knight g5. And that looks like just giveaway. I mean, it looks like he just gave away a free knight. I already explored what happens if black captures the knight on g5 in part 2 of the video. So I'm not going to rehash that variation here. That's not necessary. But black plays bishop f7. That was almost forced. I mean, there's many different lines there. And if you want to play through all of those lines, please see my webpage. I mean, I took a long time doing the webpage. It was literally weeks and weeks of work to get that web page ready to analyze the game, and then a couple of more weeks to format the web page because the web page was just incredibly detailed. And there's lots of diagrams too. And there's but anyway, if you look at the web page, I've covered all the various alternatives to 13 bishop f7 on my web page. But anyway, bishop f7, and now white plays knight takes d takes e4. In my opinion, that's very rare. 3 triple exclams in a row. In other words, 3 surprise moves, 3 very shocking moves, 3 very good moves, unsuspecting, moves that were not expected by the opponent. 3 just shock moves in a row. And to me, that's just very rare. I've never done that, and I've not seen too many grandmaster games where one player was able to accomplish this. And in my opinion, this is not hyper, it's not over exaggeration. It's just simple fact. These are just really great moves. I've showed this game to dozens of my students, both local students and students. About a year ago, I took this game over to Mobile and taught this to a group of about 15 to 20 kids. They were very impressed also with this game. They just, the average rating of the kids there were about 1,300. But some of them were much better than their rating. They play mostly in Scholastic Advance at the Bayside Academy in Daphne, Alabama. But anyway, this knight takes D14, knight D takes E4 is a double exclam. And again, that's not hyperbole or over exaggeration. That's just simple fact. It's just a tremendous shot. And black's pretty much forced to take. He plays D takes E4. And now white plays knight takes E6. And again, that's an exclam. White had several different options there. Again, I've explored that, pretty thoroughly on the webpage. If I were white here, I might have been tempted to simply play rook takes E4 first, and then knight takes E6. But that's not what Kramnik does. He goes ahead and captures on E6. Bishop takes E6, and that's pretty much forced. Queen takes E6. Now again, bishop E7 was probably forced, and we already covered that variation in detail. It's both on my webpage, and we covered it in part 2 of the video. So I'm not going to look at that here. We're just going to quickly run through and try to finish this game. Black played Queen E7 here. That was the move he felt that was the best he could find over the board. As I said, probably Bishop E7 was probably slightly better, but it was also dead lost. And we analyzed that in part 2 of my video series. Again, this is part 3. But black plays Queen E7, and now white plays rook takes E4. And here's part of the problem. This is the thing I underestimated when I first of all black's pieces are on bad squares. The rook on B8's out of the game. The king cannot castle because that's castling through it, or actually into check, and which is illegal. The rook is in the corner. This knight's on the edge of the board. These pieces here are just blocking actually useful escape squares, and they're really not doing anything. This bishop hits a couple, maybe hits G3, but that's well protected by the pawn on F2. So I'd say almost all of black's pieces are poorly developed. And if black exchanges here, let's just quickly look at that. If queen takes E6, rook takes E6 check, and now, he plays bishop E7, and now white simply plays bishop takes H6 and wins. And we already covered that in part 2 of the video series. I covered that whole variation. I won't go through it again. But anyway, so that's the trick though here. That's the thing I wanted to talk about there. This is a part that I had underestimated. Maybe Beliavsky might have missed when he was doing his initial calculations for this. Was he might have gotten here and thought he'd be okay after queen takes first white plays rook takes E4. Now we have the correct position. And black can't just simply exchange here. I already showed you that. And he plays king D8 here. According to the computer, queen takes E6 was best or forced. The move that results in the least damage to black's position. But you have to understand here that Beliavsky is just a human. He can't analyze everything like a computer can. And he was simply trying to, win this game. Maybe. I mean, nobody sits down to purposely lose. So I'm thinking, Beliavsky was trying to maybe turn the tables on white. In fact, white is a piece down here. So, he's the one that has to prove the win. So king D8 while may not be the best move there, it's hard to really attach any kind of dubious or a question mark to that move, simply because, Beliavsky is trying to find an adequate defense in a very difficult position. He's basically doing just the best he can. And now white plays queen D5 and black resigns. In my opinion, it was a premature resignation. Black should not resign. I wasn't there. I have no idea. I would just be speculating to guess why, he resigned there. Black should probably play a move like knight F6 here. That would probably be best. Let's just quickly see. I think I have one variation here. Knight F6 would have been best. And then simply rook takes E7, knight takes D5, rook E6. And now black has this bishop's hanging, this knight's hanging, and the knight on H6 is hanging. Black has to play knight F5, and now white plays bishop takes D5. Knight takes D4, hitting the rook. Rook E4, knight C6, bishop E3. All these moves are Fritz generated, and I checked them also with the engines Ribka 3 and Houdini 1.5. So these are all like forced moves here. Rook C4, king C7. King G2, exclam, that's just a good move because, basically later the king gets out of the way. Rook D8. RAC1, bishop E5, bishop takes. Black couldn't defend the square on C6. That was just obvious. Rook takes C8, king B8, rook at 6 to C4. Taking the pawn on B2 is off limits because if he does that, simply rook B1 will, pin the bishop to the king and basically just win material. So that would just be a very bad move. King A8 and now B3, of course. And here white's just 2 pawns up. And, black's king is going to continue to be menaced. If white can ever double his rook, say there's one simple plan for white is to play rook A4, and then black will have to luff one of his rooks on the back rank, and then white can play rook C6, rook A7, and totally tie black down to defense. But, and maybe even run, when he does all that, then he can just run the plan of just simply running the B pawn up the board, and black would be helpless to prevent that. So, I mean, white has a pretty uh, easy win from this point. He's 2 pawns up, and Fritz is showing an evaluation of almost 5 points advantage for white. It's fluctuating a little bit. It's going up and down between 3 point, almost 3.5 points, going all the way up to almost 5 points. But even at the low end of the scale, with over 3 points of an advantage, that would be a fairly easy win. But anyway, this is what should have happened in the game, and of course, this now I would have understood, if black chose to resign, if a grandmaster chose to resign in this position, I would have completely understood that. I did not understand why Beliavsky chose to resign there. I mean, maybe he was suffering from hallucination. I don't know. Maybe he saw something that wasn't there. I'm just guessing. I really don't know. Maybe he realized that he was lost, and he just decided to throw in the towel and allow, some guys are kind of petty. They'll play on simply because they don't want to be the victim of miniature. They know they're lost, but they play on the say move 30 and then throw in the towel. Simply, I've even had that happen to me at tournament, and guys say with a wry smile, "Well, I lost, but at least I'm not, a victim of one of your miniatures, and I managed to make it to move 30, although they've been clearly lost for 10 moves or better there." And but Beliavsky, maybe he was just being magnanimous. He simply wanted to resign and say, as a gesture of good sportsmanship, and recognize that Kramnik had played really a once in a lifetime game, just an extremely brilliant win. So I could go on again speculating. I don't. If one of my students had done this and resigned in this position, I would have been very upset with them, because I teach my students to play it all the way out to usually one move before mate, because A, that's the way you got to learn chess, and B, too, if a lot of times one of my students here in Pensacola, he can confirm this. He's won a lot of games that should have been lost, but he managed to turn things around simply by hanging in there and waiting for a mistake. And sometimes that happens, especially if you're not playing a master. But anyway, here, whatever reason, Kramnik won. Beliavsky went ahead and resigned here, and time may have been a factor. Like I said, again, I wasn't there. That's really just speculation. But it's just a brilliant win. And I also would like to thank you for watching my chess video. And I'll post the links for my webpage for this game, and also the webpage for the chess games webpage on this game, so you can replay this game at your own speed on your computer. You won't need a chessboard. And so you can replay this game, and maybe you can even want to download the PGN from the Chess Games website and do some analysis yourself, see what you can come up with. Certainly welcome to send that to my email. My email's at my webpage. Just very briefly, it's lifemasteraj@yahoo.com. And just like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's in 3 parts. Again, part 1, part 2, part 3. And I hope you enjoyed my video series on this game. And I'd just like to thank you for watching. Also, too, I want to remind you that if you would like to contribute, it's really not a pitch for money, but everyone needs money to live. But if you would like to contribute and you feel like that I've done something special here, or that I've helped you understand chess, and you appreciate the work that I put into this, both the video and the web page, feel free to contribute. Again, go to the PayPal web page, and just you can contribute through my email, which is lifemasteraj@yahoo.com. Like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll check out my webpage, and just appreciate everything you've done in chess, and keep on watching those chess videos. Maybe send me an email. If nothing else, just send me an email and say thank you for the video. That would be great. And just say, hi, I'm whomever, and thanks for doing the video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.